LSU handles UCLA 9-5 to move to 2-0 at the College World Series. It's Locked On LSU. Here we go.
You are Locked On LSU, your daily podcast on the LSU Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Okay, let's get it. It is Locked On LSU, your team every day. I'm your host, Matt Moscona. Thanks so much for making us your first listen. We are free, available wherever you get podcasts, of course, on YouTube as well. So please subscribe. As always, one of the fastest ways to help us grow is by leaving your comments below. So thank you sincerely for that. LSU beats UCLA 9-5. The Tigers now start 2-0 at the College World Series, and this one was unconventional at best with the way that it all went down. The game started on Monday, as we know. The teams played 3 innings. At the end of the third, LSU had a 5-3 lead. The rains came, or the storm was coming, so the teams cleared the field. They waited out a long delay. Ultimately, after about 2.5 hours, made the decision to postpone the game until Tuesday morning, a 10 a.m. Central Time resumption, and it was Casan Evans. If you were with us when the game got delayed, my feeling that I shared as we went through all the possible scenarios was Evans was 100% the right call. There might be some concern or some question about why you would go to Evans in that situation, why you wouldn't try to make it through with whoever else you might have available. And at its most basic level, it's understanding you were in the situation on Tuesday morning the same as you were on Monday night. It's still the opportunity to start 2-0, to stay in the winner's bracket. And you were in a 5-3 ball game. It was a 2-run game with 6 innings to go. And the same reason you threw Anthony Ianson because he was your best guy available, you threw Casan Evans because he was your best guy available to get you to 2-0, which is just imperative in this tournament. I mean, we talk about it all the time. There's only 4 teams that have lost their first game of the College World Series to go on to win it. It is just imperative that you get into the winner's bracket. Can it be done? Yes. Like we saw LSU in 2023 lose that second game and come out of the loser's bracket to advance and win a national championship. It's possible, but this path is so much more manageable for college rosters. I don't need to spell that out, but it's why you go to Casan Evans. He was your best arm available, just like Ianson on Monday was your best arm available. So you went to Evans, said, we need 18 outs. Go find me 18 outs. And Evans almost got you home. He gives way after going 4 1/3 there in the 8th. He got a very casual foul out to start the 8th, and then single, wild pitch, hit by pitch. They go to Cooper Williams, who goes walk, RBI fielder's choice, it's 8-4, infield single, it's 8-5, walk, and now the bases are loaded in an 8-5 ball game. You're one swing away from being tied. Now, it was the 9-hole, but you went to get Chase Shores, 1 pitch, ground out, and it was all over but the shouting. LSU would add the insurance run in the bottom of the 8th on the RBI single by Jared Jones, and Chase Shores would have a clean 9th, 3 ground balls to the second baseman, up and down in order, and the Tigers advance. They'll have the rest of the day off today. They'll play on Wednesday night against the winner of Arkansas-UCLA, which has to play tonight. I'll go through the rest of the game here in a second. We'll get to your questions, comments. So as always, fire away. We appreciate you for being there with us. And if you're with us here live on YouTube, please smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. But I do feel strongly that Arkansas will advance tonight. I don't think that that's any breaking news. We'll see what the odds makers say. I'll pull up FanDuel here and see if they have a line yet, if they posted a line yet on Arkansas and UCLA. They may wait to see what information they get on starting pitching for this ball game. We had no line posted just yet. If one is posted before we're finished here, we'll discuss it. But it's one of those things where Arkansas, sky high, they were able to rest their bullpen with Gage Wood throwing the no-hitter on Monday, and UCLA just used 8 pitchers. I mean, let me run through this box score just to make sure I have that correctly, but I'm almost positive it's 8 pitchers in this game that UCLA used. So they went Stump, Grothis, those are both yesterday. Started today with Wyland Moss, Cal Randall, Ian May, Jack O'Connor, August Souza, and Easton Hawk, 6, and then the 2 yesterday, so that's 8. So 6 pitchers today through, and the 2 that pitched on Monday makes it 8. Now, UCLA will go into this game tonight just at a severe disadvantage in every possible way. Their only path is if Arkansas decides that they don't want to hit the baseball, like in the first 2 games where they've gotten 4 runs total in 2 games. Maybe UCLA can win a game like that. But my assumption going into this was whoever lost this game with LSU and UCLA, their season ends tonight. Because to turn around quickly and have to face Arkansas tonight, Arkansas having had 24 hours, you started last night, stopped, had to restart. Now you're going to have to go home and then go back to the hotel, come back and play again tonight against Arkansas. It's a really tough ask. So I do expect Arkansas to beat UCLA tonight and LSU and Arkansas to meet on Wednesday. So I will talk about what I think we'll see from LSU on Wednesday night, whenever they play in the what would be at the semifinal, the first of the semifinals. A few things here as we go through this game. If we go back and we kind of combine both Monday night and tonight, it was interesting how this game started where Ianson, it feels like forever ago, but Ianson allowed 3 runs on 4 hits. It was just a bunch of ground balls on the infield. There was 1 ball that was hitting the air to the outfield. Needed 23 pitches to get through it. You're down 3-0. You're feeling like mud. But my goodness, what a response from the offense to come back, put up a 4 spot. Jake Brown, the RBI single on an 0-2 pitch. Jared Jones with the 3-run homer. And just like that, you're up 4-3, feeling great. Ianson, after 23 pitches in the first inning, an 11-pitch second inning, a 10-pitch third inning, he was efficient. It allowed you to get 3 innings in before the rains came. And then you had a big bottom of the third as well, where you worked a 9-pitch at bat to start the bottom of the third. That was Fry. Milam walked, so you went walk. Jake Brown comes in. That's where they tried to bunt, and with 2 on and nobody out. Brown strikes out trying to bunt. Jones would strike out as well, and then Luis Hernandez. I don't think you can undersell this, because as the game got tight and it finished, I know it finished 9-5, but you were in 8-5 situation in the 9th inning. They had the bases loaded. Luis Hernandez, a 2-out RBI single that made it 5-3. That's when John Pearson came in to pitch hit. He struck out, and then we went into the delay. But then, that 2-out single by Luis Hernandez, the 2-out rally in the 4th inning after the restart for LSU was just massive as well. You start very quickly, ground out. Curiel, the lineup flips over. Curiel singles, Fry walks, Milam RBI single at 6-3, Brown RBI single at 7-3. They go to a pitching change there. Jones is up next, and he's got a 3-0 count. They green light him, and he grounds out on a 3-0 count. I mean, you could have done even more damage there, and he probably swung at ball 4. But the key there, it's 7-3, was Casan Evans. He was clean in the 4th, allowing just a single, a 1-2-3 5th. This is where it kind of appeared like Blue was trying to get this game in. It was some borderline calls. And then in the top of the 6th there, beautiful play by Daniel Dickinson, who was shaded behind second base to get the ground out. They got a single, and then that's when Stephen Milam made the gorgeous unassisted double play where he fielded the ball, touched the bag, avoided both Daniel Dickinson and the umpire. So there were a couple of spots where it could have gotten hairy, but you made plays, and that was one of them, certainly in the top of the 6th inning. And then in the 7th, sometimes you have moments that work for you. In the 7th, with 1 on and 1 out, it looked like Evans hit call with the pitch. They reviewed it, determined he was not hit by the pitch, and you ultimately got a strikeout there, then a ground out to get out of it again. And then in the 8th inning is what we talked about there, the easy foul out, then the trouble from Cooper Williams. Chase Shore saved the day. So if you look at the final lines here for LSU's pitchers who, you would have loved to have seen this be a game where Anthony Ianson went and gave you length, but this does sort of flip a bit, where now, because Einson only threw 44 pitches, you're going to use him again before you get to the championship series, or you have the option to use him again. Einson only threw 44 pitches. Evans threw 68 pitches. He presumably would be done until the championship series. Maybe if you get into the win or go home scenario on Thursday, Evans might be able to give you an inning. We'll see. And then Shores only needed 11 pitches. So for Chase Shores, 10 pitches in game 1, 11 pitches in game 2. So Chase Shores has been fantastic for you and really efficient as well. Cooper Williams needed 21 pitches in his outing there. But all things considered, really strong work by LSU's pitchers in the ball game. For Evans, his final line, 4 1/3, 2 runs on 4 hits. Of course, Williams inherited 2 runners that were both charged to Evans. They both did score. He struck out 5, didn't walk anybody. Where did you get into trouble? With Cooper Williams. Why? He walked 2. Einson, no walks. Evans, no walks. Shores, no walks. Williams, 2 walks. He got into trouble. That's where it was. So Williams just recorded the 1 out on the fielder's choice. And then Chase Shores, an inning and a third, his first save of the season. Didn't strike out anybody. Induced 4 ground ball outs as UCLA had an approach against the power right-handed arms. You saw it with Einson the first inning. You saw it with Shores with 1 out to get the final out of the 8th and there in the 9th. All those balls were hit on the ground. They were trying to test the defense, stretch the defense, but LSU's defense was certainly up for the task in this ball game, and the Tigers advanced. A couple of things offensively that I liked a whole lot in this ball game. Jared Jones, after an 0 for 5 performance with 5 strikeouts, it was so good to see him. The homer was fantastic, but he had the single in the 8th inning, the RBI single in the 8th inning as well. But he also drew a walk in this ball game. Jared Jones walked in the 7th. I believe he led off the 7th with a walk. Let me make sure I have this correctly. I'm pretty sure it was a leadoff walk in the 7th. So Jones leadoff walk in the 7th on a full count. It was a 7 pitch at bat, and he drew the full count walk. And I'm sorry, it was 6 pitch at bat. Forgive me. It was a 6 pitch at bat. So he draws the full count walk there. That was his first walk. I went and looked it up. That walk in the 7th for Jared Jones was his first walk in 40. Excuse me. It was his first walk of the College World Series, but it was only his 3rd walk in his last 48 at-bats. That goes back 10 games, back to the South Carolina series. That was only his 3rd walk since the South Carolina series. So one of the big things that was so impressive about Jones early in the season that kept his on-base percentage high was his patience, his willingness to take walks. That evaporated as his struggles kind of persisted in the last month. It was so nice to see Jared Jones draw that walk. And as we mentioned also in the 4th, he had a 3-0 count, probably swung at ball 4 when they green lighted him. I think he just got a little aggressive. But Jones on base 3 times in this ball game, had the homer, had the RBI single, drew a walk, and scored. So he scored the on Dickinson's RBI, the little flare from Dickinson on the RBI to make it 8-3. So when you look at this game, 9-5, felt really one-sided, and for a bulk of the game it was. But Luis Hernandez, the 2-out single in the 3rd, the 2-out rally for LSU in the 4th. After 2 quick outs, you were able to push across 2 runs. The Daniel Dickinson's 2-out RBI single that scored Jared Jones in the 7th. Jared Jones's 2-out RBI single in the 9th. I mean, that's if I'm just counting. Let's see. Hernandez in the 3rd. Let's see. Milam and Brown's RBIs in the 4th. That's 3. Dickinson's RBI in the 7th is 4. And then Jones's RBI in the 8th. 5 of your 9 runs in this ball game. 5 of your 9 runs in this ball game were scored with 2 outs. So just incredibly impressive. A approach at the plate, especially with 2 outs and the ability to get it done. Jared Jones, I thought, was great. As mentioned, Luis Hernandez had a couple of really big at-bats in this ballgame as well. And how about Jake Brown? I know we've had this conversation for a while, and you all know how I feel about Jake Brown, but he continues to illustrate why he is a big leaguer. He's a 5-tool guy, and he needs to be in your lineup. The one time, they got him out twice in this ballgame. He was 3 for 5. One was the strikeout on the foolish bunt attempt, and then he had a ground ball to the right side where he grounded out. But 3 for 5 for Jake Brown with 2 RBI and a run scored. He's pushed his average now to 324 on the season. This is your lineup. Is Curiel, Fry, Milam, Brown, Joes, Hernandez. I think you got to go Dickinson and then Braswell, Stanfield. We did see Reeves start the game, obviously, but in any event, it's a lineup that works. It's a lineup that's functional. It's a lineup that can hit for average. It can hurt you at the top of the bottom. Love to see it. LSU wins the game 9-5. They are now moved to 2-0 here in this College World Series, and they'll play on Wednesday. So I want to talk about what's next for LSU. In particular, having used Ianson on Monday and now Evans on Tuesday. What does that mean for Wednesday and potentially Thursday? We'll get to that here as we continue Locked on LSU, your team every day. There's nothing like the NBA playoffs, the intensity, the buzzer beaters, the fans losing their minds. It's the kind of atmosphere you must experience live. And this year's matchups are already delivering. If you want in, Gametime makes it fast and easy to get seats, even for the biggest playoff games. Prices on the app actually drop closer to tip-off. And with killer last-minute deals, panoramic seat views, and no surprise fees, Gametime is a total game changer. Remember, College World Series is going on right now as well. So if you're getting up to Omaha now or for the championship series when the Tigers punch their ticket, get your tickets on the Gametime app. So make sure if you're going to take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime, you download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem with the code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Okay, LSU wins 9-5, and now we're looking forward to what's next for LSU after just some great moments in this ballgame. I mean, as I'm looking, I'm just glancing over my notes, and I even just look at situations where John Savage just pushed the wrong buttons. I mean, there was a time where, look, going to Hawk in the 9th, I thought, or in the 8th was a gigantic risk for John Savage. That's their closer. You know you're going to have to play tonight. He's your best bullpen arm, and you went to him down 3 in the 8th. I get it. You're thinking, let me keep it as close as possible to give my offense a shot in the bottom of the 8th. It speaks again to the importance of this game. But, man, down 3, that was a questionable call. One time it did work was bottom of the 6th. I mean, bottom of the 6th after the infield single by Stanfield, and then Curiel was hit by pitch. There's 2 on, nobody out. Fry strikes out right there on a borderline pitch, but Fry strikes out. They go to the lefty, and I thought this was a key moment because they went to the lefty, which turned Milam around to the right side, and then you had Jake Brown to follow, who we all know the splits with Brown against lefties. And Milam flew out, and then Jake Brown grounded out. So it worked in that situation going to May. So it was one of those games of cat and mouse where I thought Savage made some key moves, but probably missed a good bit as well. Certainly, I think going to Hawk in the 8th was one of those. So as we look ahead now, what this means for LSU, tonight UCLA and Arkansas will play an elimination game. The loser of their season's over. The winner will play LSU Wednesday, and in the first game of the semifinal, that team, UCLA, Arkansas, would have to beat LSU Wednesday, come back and beat LSU again on Thursday. So remember, this is the path LSU followed in 2023, where they beat Tennessee in the opener, lost to Wake, came back and beat Tennessee in an elimination game, then beat Wake in consecutive days, Wednesday, Thursday. So for tonight, it's very likely going to be Landon Beidelshees from Arkansas getting the start. Gage Wood obviously is going to be done, but Beidelshees is very likely going to get the start for Arkansas. I have no idea what John Savage is going to do for UCLA, and because the entire Arkansas bullpen had a day off, basically all the guys that Arkansas used again against LSU in that opener out of the bullpen would, in theory, all be available to come back after having Sunday off, Monday off. They could certainly throw tonight. So, for example, Gabe Gackle, I was trying to look at Gackle's pitch count, if you forgive me. Gackle threw 90, so he would unlikely be available. Gibbler only threw 21 pitches. Christian Fouch threw 8 pitches. So both of those guys would be available. Zach Root, as we talked about, only threw 38 pitches in that game. I think the only way you would see Zach Root tonight against UCLA is if Arkansas got into trouble. Understanding your season's on the line, you've got to throw out your best guy. I think that's the only way that I think you'd see Zach Root tonight. Otherwise, I think Root throws, provided Arkansas won tonight against UCLA, I think Root will throw against LSU again on Wednesday. The bigger question then becomes, what does LSU do? And again, I think going to Evans was 100% the right decision. The way you can approach this from the Ianson perspective is two ways. As disappointing as it was that you had to burn him after 38 or 44 pitches in 3 innings on Monday night, it now means you can use Ianson again before you get to the championship series if you want to. So the way you can play this out is you got a couple of options. On Wednesday, you can do the thing that we've seen LSU do over the last month of the season that was very successful until the championship game of the Baton Rouge Regional against Little Rock, where they went Jaden Newt, Chase Shores, Jacob Myers. That combo is kind of what LSU had done in the final month of the season whenever, remember, Shores had been your Sunday guy, and then they started using Evans for 3 weeks in that Sunday role. He was very good against Tennessee. Then he struggled against Arkansas and A&M. And then from that point on, at the end of the regular season, the SEC tournament and into regionals, what they had done there was they had gone Newt, Shores, Myers, kind of in tandem to get you through that third game. You could do that. You could certainly go Newt, Shores, Myers like that. You know, that succession or progression on Wednesday against Arkansas. Or you could go back to Anthony Ianson on Wednesday. Ianson throwing 44 pitches on Monday, having the day off Tuesday, could absolutely come back and throw for you on Wednesday. I don't know if that's what Jay Johnson would prefer to do, because if you didn't have to use Ianson on Wednesday, and let's say hypothetically you lost, then you could use either Anderson, Ianson on Thursday, or both of them. You could go Anderson, Ianson. Remember, in 2023, this is exactly what they did. Like, if you're wondering, Anderson, if you're trying to play this out, this is exactly what you did in 2023 with Paul Skeens. Skeens threw on Saturday in the opener, which you won. You came back on Monday and lost. And then you made it through Tuesday, largely thanks to Nate Ackenhausen. Wednesday, largely thanks to Griffin Herring. And then on Thursday, you brought back Paul Skeens, who had thrown Saturday. So he was on 4 days rest, pitched on his 5th day, which is what you do in Major League Baseball. You pitch on the 5th day. So all these guys who want to be big leaguers, you pitch on the 5th day. So I could see, and I think what will happen if LSU gets to Thursday is they'll bring Cade Anderson back to pitch on Thursday. Just look at history as your greatest teacher. It's what Jay Johnson did with Paul Skeens. If you get to Thursday, your season's on the line, you're going to throw Cade Anderson there, which means Ianson is probably your better option on Wednesday if you're going to use him in some capacity. You could have Ianson available in relief of Anderson on Thursday if you get there, but Wednesday to use Ianson in some capacity would be your other option. So I think what they'll do is either the Newt, Shores, Myers combo, right? Get through it. And you've got other guys. You've got Maverick Rizzi available. You got DJ Primo. You can get through it Wednesday. And hopefully your bats are big against a team that's depleted. Or you can throw Ianson on Wednesday and see how deep he can get you into the ball game. And then from there, you use your bullpen as you see fit, knowing you're queuing up. If you lose, you're queuing up Cade Anderson for Thursday to pitch you into the championship series. If you do throw Ianson on Wednesday, then game one of the championship series gets a little convoluted. Because if you have to throw Ianson Wednesday and then potentially Anderson on Thursday, then neither of those guys are ready for you on Saturday. And it might not be until Monday that Ianson could throw for you. Now, if you got into an elimination game, again, I'm playing out a lot of hypotheticals, so I hope you're following here. It'd probably be helpful if I had like a flow chart or something that I could explain all this, but I hope it makes sense. Just as we're kind of playing it all out, what direction you go. So the other option that you have on Wednesday is Zach Cowan. You could do what I described, the Newt, Shores. Look, this is what LSU did in the regional, right? On Sunday, which was the championship game that they lost, they went Newt, Shores, and it didn't go well because those guys struggled to throw strikes. They came back on Monday and went to Zach Cowan, which is something we talked about here, which I thought Jay Johnson was going to do. You're talking about a guy in Zach Cowan who was a veteran, had been really good for you. It started in the postseason before. And Cowan has not been good in 4 of his last 5 starts, and the problem really has been his walks. I mean, the 2 walks in the first inning were his bugaboo against Little Rock. So you could start Cowan on Wednesday, and I wouldn't hate that idea. But I think it's one of those things where if you start Cowan, you've got to have somebody in the bullpen like loose and limber and ready in case if it goes bad early, like it did against Little Rock. But here's the difference. When you threw Cowan against Little Rock, you had Casan Evans queued up ready to go. You don't have Casan Evans now. So what options you have, like the options you have change in that situation there from what you did in the in regional play against Little Rock. Maybe it's a thing where you start Cowan and then you've got Newt and other guys that might be able to give you length. But I think those are your options for Wednesday. And just to recap, I think you've got 3 options for what you do. 1, you start Newt and Newt, Shores, Myers, that whole thing we've seen. 2 is you start Cowan and see what Cowan can get you, and you figure it out from there after as you piece the game together. And 3 is you could go back to Anthony Ianson. But if you go back to Ianson on Wednesday and lose, you don't have him then available for you on Thursday behind Cade Anderson. So that's kind of your options because I do believe if they get to Thursday, if LSU loses on Wednesday and has to play on Thursday, Cade Anderson is going to come back and pitch. The same we saw Paul Skeens do in 2023. So those are the options I think that you have. The lineup that you see, and again, it'll be interesting if you do in fact see Zach Root on Wednesday. Is I think UCLA. I do think Arkansas beats UCLA tonight here on Tuesday night in the elimination game. I think Landon Beidelshees is very likely the guy that's going to go for Arkansas. So if they don't have to use Zach Root, that means Root would come back and throw for Arkansas in an elimination game against LSU on Wednesday. So then you'd be seeing Zach Root, a lefty, against whatever one of the 3 we just discussed. So what do you do with the lineup will be an interesting conversation to have as well for LSU. Do you go back to Josh Pearson against the lefty? I mean, Jake Brown had a 3-hit day. Are you going to sit Jake Brown at this point when all he's done this postseason is hit for you? You could play the hunch. You could play you could play all the different analytics games here. I think this is very obvious. Like Jake Brown's been great for you. He's hitting 324. He's got to play. He's your best defensive outfielder as well. He's got to play. So see what direction Jay Johnson elects to go. I'm seeing some of y'all are also talking about Michael Braswell. I think Braswell has got to play third, especially in this ballpark. He Braswell, by the way, put a charge into one there in the 8th when he flew out with the bases loaded. I mean, and that was against Ethan Hawke, who's throwing 95 to 100. So, all I need from Braswell at the bottom of the lineup is just to have productive at bats. I don't need Braswell to hit 300 there in the 8 hole. I just need him to move runners, to hit a sac fly, whatever run up a pitch count, draw a walk, get hit by a pitch. I mean, that's what I need from Braswell. I look at the run production you have in this lineup right now. Just for example, in this ball game, your RBI, Milam had an RBI, Brown had 2, Jones had 4, 5, 6, 7, Hernandez had 1. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 of your 9 RBI came from your 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters. I mean, you've got, and Brown, Jones, 4 and 5 accounted for 6 RBI in this ball game. Like, the other was Dickinson's little flare that he hit in the 7th. So you've got run production. You've got your table setters at the top. You've got your run producers in the middle. I don't need Tanner Reeves' bat. And by the way, what's to say that Tanner Reeves' bat is even better at this point? Reeves, we looked it up before he got the start on Monday night. Reeves had 12 at-bats since the Auburn series. So, I mean, he's hitting 266 on the season. I mean, I understand Braswell's at 197. I'm not sitting there trying to tell you Braswell's been gangbusters. I'm just telling you it's not like you've got a 320 hitter sitting on the bench. In that ballpark, I want Braswell's glove in that ballpark. I want my best defensive infield. Look how critical the infield defensively was in this ball game. The unassisted double play that Milam turned, the play Dickinson made in the top of the 6th for the first out when he was shaded behind second base. Yeah, I want you to end the game. You had 4 groundouts, 1 to Milam and then 3 to Dickinson in the 9th. I want my best defensive outfield. I want my best defensive lineup in the field. That's what I want. So we'll see what they elect to do. Okay, y'all, do me a favor. Please smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you for being with us here live. More than 2,000 people watching live as LSU beats UCLA 9-5 to advance 2-0 here at the College World Series. What a very fun position to be in. One that we have not seen LSU in since 2009, the 09 championship. In 2013, they lost to UCLA. In 15, they lost to TCU in their opener. In 17, they won their opener, lost the second game to Oregon State. And then, of course, in 2023, they won the opener against Tennessee, then lost to Wake Forest. So we haven't seen LSU at 2-0. We have not seen LSU 2-0 in the College World Series since the 2009 championship year. So, yeah, I like this feeling a lot. I like being in the catbird seat, having someone else go play tonight, and then having to come back and try to beat you twice, knowing that even if you get to Thursday, here comes Cade Anderson again. Look forward to seeing that. Actually, I don't look forward to seeing that. I look forward to LSU winning on Wednesday and getting Thursday, Friday off to reset everybody, and then going Saturday Anderson, Sunday Ianson, and LSU holding up another trophy. It's within sight now, as LSU is going to be the prohibitive betting favorite at 2-0 right now, with Arkansas having to play tonight against UCLA and what we see going on the other side of the bracket with a Coastal in the driver's seat over there. Okay, that'll do it for us here, y'all. Thanks so much for making us your first listen. If you are listening on podcast, please subscribe on your favorite podcast app, rate us, leave a review. If you're on YouTube, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video, and let a friend know that if they love the Tigers, we got you here every single day for Locked on LSU, your team every day.